So today I want to share 5 tips on how to overcome anxiety and tips that helped me. And I know that anxiety is a very personal journey to yourself, and you're the only one that can ultimately help yourself. So I hope that in today's video you find this inspiring and helpful, and they're just super simple, basic tips. So if you're interested, then just keep watching. Anxiety can be almost paralyzing. I know from experience how it makes you feel. If you've never dealt with anxiety before, consider yourself lucky, because it is one of those things that you feel like you'll never feel normal again. I've had a history of anxiety in my past. I've dealt with it for many years, and in my family, my dad dealt with depression and anxiety really badly, where he almost took his life. So I know from experience what anxiety does to people. I know these aren't going to work for everyone, and that's okay, but I hope that maybe even listening to this, knowing that someone is out there dealing with anxiety just like you, and I just hope that people don't feel alone, because this is a huge common issue, especially in this generation. I found I am not in any way a doctor. I'm not saying that this is going to be your automatic cure to anxiety. These are just personal things that I found really helped. And so the first tip for me, listening to podcasts helped me so much, and I can't stress that enough, because I just feel like when you're feeding your mind with such encouragement and positivity, it helps shift things. And so I really loved listening to podcasts from different people that I love and look up to, different pastors, Judith Smith, Stephen FURTICK, KRIS VALLOTTON, Bill Johnson, like so many different people I would listen to, and as soon as I would get done with that message, I would feel lifted, I would feel lighter, and just encouraged. You're so in your head when you're dealing with anxiety that it really helps to get an outside perspective, an outside opinion, whether that be podcasts, whether that be a friend that's trying to encourage you. So listening to podcasts, worship music for me personally. If you're not religious, then any kind of music I feel like is uplifting. If you love a certain genre or music artist, then I feel like that is a cure in itself, to just have that moment with a song. Every time I would put worship music on, I would immediately feel peace. And reading encouraging books as well. There were some really great books that helped me. One was Judith Smith's How's Your Soul? 2 was The Broken Way. I'll leave all of the books down below if you want to check them out. So again, like I said, super simple tip that just helps me get through my day a little bit easier. You know, if you don't have time to read a book, then do a podcast on your way to work, or, you know, listen to music while you're on your commute home. I feel like I never have time to do anything, but just turning on some music really just uplifts your spirit, and I feel like really helped. Also, talking to someone. It really helps to have someone to open up to that you feel safe with, and have that person understand you and relate to you. It's just really nice to have someone say, like, I see you and I see what you're going through. You're not alone, and it just helps to get out whatever you're feeling to someone, whether that be through therapy or just a good close friend. I really encourage you to do that. I went to therapy for a few years when I was in high school, and it really helped me to just release my feelings, and even if maybe they don't give you advice, they just listen. Sometimes that's even better, just so that you can feel like somebody knows and somebody hears you and understands, and it's not good to keep things bottled up inside. And I am definitely a culprit of that. I love to keep things in. I'm not really open with my feelings. I don't like to talk about my feelings, but every time I do, I feel better, and it's just something that I really encourage you to do. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Okay, number 2, essential oils. And I know so many people have different opinions about essential oils, and I did too. I was the biggest skeptic for the longest time, but in my opinion, this really helped me, especially at night whenever my anxiety would be more intense. I would always keep a diffuser next to my bed, and I would diffuse lavender or peppermint, and it just creates a calming environment, and it just made me feel peaceful and more relaxed. I'll leave the diffuser I have down below. It's like $12 from Amazon. I love that smells bring you back to a specific time in your life, and whether that smell be peppermint or lavender or whatever it is, it can transport you into a time in your life that maybe was more happy or more, fun or relaxed. Tip number 3, get outside. And I know that is super simple, but it's true. Like, the outside fresh air is so good for your soul, whether that be going on a walk, going on a hike, just getting outside, breathing in that fresh air. It really did something for me, and it helped me process things. It helped me think. Whenever I would go on walks around my neighborhood or go on even jogs, it just helps you clear your head. The endorphins are super good for you. They release a positive effect in your body. So exercising really does help with depression or anxiety. Tip number 4, just breathe. And that may sound really stupid. Obviously, we're breathing all the time, but I mean taking intentional deep breaths for about 5 to 10 seconds and releasing it. And throughout my day, whenever I'm working and I feel stressed, I will do that because it really helps me just bring me back to focus and bring me back to, like, okay, you're gonna be okay. This isn't going to last forever. You're not gonna feel this way forever. So just inhale, exhale, and there's so many articles about how beneficial this is for you. So I would encourage you, if you want to learn more about breathing techniques, then go on Pinterest, type in breathing techniques, and so many things will come up. This tip probably helped me the most, more than others, because I still use this tip today in my everyday life. Whenever I was going through my intense bouts of anxiety or depression, I would check out these apps. One of the apps is called Calm, and I actually saw it on a commercial the other day on TV, which I thought was really interesting. But it's called Calm, and it's honestly my favorite app. It has amazing meditation sessions. I think they're like 10 to 20 minutes long. I would play them at night, and it's just this really soothing girl talking you through your day, talking you through your emotions, and I found it was super helpful. The Calm app also has sound effects, so it has rain, thunder, ocean. It has a bunch of different ones that I personally loved. To me, there's nothing like burning a candle and listening to the sound of rain and having your window cracked. I love that sound. So if you don't live in a state with a lot of rain, then this Calm app is really awesome. There's another app called Breathe, and that is the one with a lot of breathing techniques that I use the most. Also, there's a lot of sleep apps if you have insomnia or trouble sleeping at night. So try and download one of those apps. I really, really highly suggest them. Tip number 5. So do things that make you feel alive. And that could be so many different things. But for me, whenever I'm going through anxiety or just feeling down, I need something to pick me up. So for me, that's taking a bath, just taking a moment for yourself, writing your thoughts down. Journaling is super important. I feel like when you're going through things like that, I wish I had journaled more. It's kind of like if you don't have someone to talk to in that moment, writing them out is still getting them out. You're not keeping them bottled in. Cooking can be really therapeutic, or baking is really therapeutic. I think just doing something where you're creating, just getting yourself up and off the couch or up and off the bed is super important. And I know it may feel like the world is going to end and you do not want to get up. Sometimes it just takes that determination in your mind to be like, no, I'm not going to allow these thoughts and this feeling to control me today. I'm going to make myself get out of bed and do something that's good for yourself. laughing. And that may sound really silly, but laughing seriously is the best medicine. I really encourage you, whether that be through Netflix with a funny movie, whether that be through your comedian friend, just try and laugh as much as you can, even when it doesn't feel like you want to, or you're just feeling down about yourself. I promise you it'll make you feel uplifted and better. Self-care is super, super important. And I feel like as a mom, I really did let myself go. And so now my goal for the rest of the year is to really focus on myself and my health, whether that be through eating good foods, feeling healthy again. I feel like I really let myself go and just kind of like didn't care with what I ate or whatnot. And I feel like that is a really key part in dealing with anxiety, is having a healthy diet, sleeping well at night, taking a shower every day, putting on makeup, getting dressed, like actually making those efforts. It just makes you feel better. And so I really encourage you, if you are dealing with depression specifically, is to force yourself to get out of bed. Do something. Just do anything little. And I know when I was going through it, like any little thing felt like a really big thing. So whether that be brushing your hair or brushing your teeth, like those little things actually matter. Anxiety does not have control over your life, and fear does not have control over you. Anxiety, I feel like, is fear and helplessness put together into one, and that can feel very, like I said, paralyzing. For me, what worked was prayer, just asking God to help me to just come and be my peace, and honestly, it changed everything. Like once I started really bringing him into my everyday anxiety, that's when I feel like things started to shift. And with the depression, like just asking God every day to be intentional in my life and actually, you know, fill me up with peace and joy. So I really encourage you to do that. I asked my dad for his own personal tips that helped him with anxiety, because he went through anxiety probably a lot more intensely than I did. He was bedridden, he couldn't go to work. So I asked him to give me some perspective, maybe a different opinion of what helped him. My dad's 3 tips, I'll go off of those now. His number 1 tip for him was exercise. Whenever he was feeling stressed or feeling depressed, getting out and doing exercise, he would run. We have a park not too far away. He would run that, and it just helps you. Again, with the getting outside, feeling good about yourself, doing a little bit of exercise every day can help. Tip number 2 for him was clean. My dad is a huge perfectionist. He is a super huge clean freak. Even if you're not a clean freak, I feel like having a clean space is super, super vital to having less anxiety in your life. It kind of goes to show, like, whenever you have a cluttered space, it kind of tells what's going maybe on inside. And that's not always the case, because sometimes my house is like trashed. I blame my 1-year-old, but sometimes my house is trashed and it's not necessarily due to anxiety or how I'm feeling inside, but I know that there are a lot of cases where that can ring true. When you are depressed, you don't feel like doing anything, so things start piling up. There is seriously something to be said about a clean home. Whenever I go home and it's clean, you just feel differently. He said don't let things pile up, whether that be physically or emotionally. You can let so many emotions pile up in your head that it almost feels too overwhelming that you can't tackle it. So just whenever a thought comes into your head, tackle that thought immediately. So what helped for me was when me and James were broken up and a thought would come into my head like, I'll never be loved, I'll never be happy again. Tackle that thought. So be like, okay, why am I feeling that specific way? And to me, like, if you just take that thought and really like break it down, it's really helpful in releasing that anxiety, releasing that stress. And his tip number 3, which I think goes hand in hand, is don't sweat the small stuff. We are so much in our heads all the time. You can really overthink things and make them bigger than they actually are. My uncle gave me really great advice one time. And he said that everything in life is temporary, and for me that really helped me put life and things into perspective, because how you are feeling right now in this moment is not going to be how you're going to be feeling for the rest of your life. And you have control over yourself and your emotions. You don't have to let, these little things that people do or say really affect you and change your overall outlook, overall mood for the day. And when you're helping others or trying to encourage others, even if you're struggling and you're encouraging someone, that can be like the key that helps you actually feel better, which is interesting, right? And I feel like a huge thing in this generation is comparison, and that is due to social media, in my opinion. And we just love to compare ourselves to others. We go on Instagram and see somebody having these beautiful posts that look so amazing. Oh my gosh, they have the best life. But I can promise you that is absolutely not true. They are obviously dealing with their own insecurities, their own family issues. So don't let, other people and the appearance they give make you feel bad about yourself, because comparison really is the thief of joy. And that is like a quote that I have loved so much, because as soon as I start comparing myself to another woman or even another man, like, oh my god, they're so much more successful, they have so much better hair, they're so much prettier, whatever it may be, it instantly makes you feel bad about yourself. And so I just feel like that's super important, is not comparing at all. And unfortunately, this generation is difficult to be in my opinion. Like, it's hard because everyone is so consumed with how they look, how, their Instagram feed is, and that is just not a way to live, because we have so much thrown at us at such a young age. It's scary thinking of Kenzie growing up in this generation. It's just, I feel like you have to combat a lot harder in your head and really take control over your life, and not let the influences of social media or whatever it may be, let it affect you. I just feel like what's really important with anxiety is acknowledging it. So when you have that thought come into your head that makes you feel a certain way, I feel like you need to approach it, say, okay, I acknowledge, I see you, that I'm feeling this way. So acknowledge it. Don't just be like, oh, it's not there, like, I don't see it. I feel like a lot of people just like to say I'm fine when they're really not. It's how our society is. Whenever somebody asks you how you're doing, obviously you just say good, because you don't want to actually tell them how they feel. Okay guys, I really have to try and hurry because my camera battery is about to be out. But ultimately, I just want you guys to feel encouraged. I don't want you to feel alone if you are going through anxiety. It is not a fun place to be in, and I hope that these simple tips just helped you maybe get some insight, get some perspective on things that helped me. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. I feel like a lot of things we complicate in life, and I just am all about simplifying and making things easy and relatable. Anxiety is just caused by so much fear, and it can almost feel like you'll never feel normal again. And I can totally relate to that because I have been there before. I understand that feeling, and it can feel very, very helpless. And I just want to encourage you that you are going to overcome this. You are not going to stay in this place forever. This is only temporary, and God has so many amazing things ahead for you. And if you could only take a step back and see how far you've come, for one, and two, where you're going, you would feel so much better about your life and where you're at. So don't stress. Feel confident in where you're going. Feel confident in yourself. Feel confident that anxiety does not have control over you. You don't have to believe the lie that anxiety has you trapped in a life that you don't love. Even in the monotony of every day, life is still so valuable, and I feel so grateful and blessed to be alive, because there's so many people that haven't had that opportunity, that are sick with cancer or whatever it may be. So in my opinion, like, just trying to get perspective, think on others, think of what other people are going through, will help you get out of your head so much. Trying to be the most optimistic you can be in life has really helped me. That is definitely something that I feel like I'm really good at, is trying to think very positively, and that has really helped with my anxiety. So I encourage you, don't be a pessimist. You're just going to feel angry at the world, upset, feel like nothing is ever going to go your way, and it's just not a great outlook to have on life, in my opinion. Trust God with your future. That is everything I have to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you were able to get some inspiration, some hope and encouragement from this, and I wish you guys all the best. I would love to talk to you guys and hear your stories, so please don't ever feel shy or embarrassed to reach out to me. And I'll leave everything that really helped me down in the description box. So if you're looking for a good book, a good podcast or music to listen to, check the description box, and I really hope you guys consider subscribing. So please subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!